wayward light. Now don't worry, I had to look up the term wayward myself. It is the unruly light that behaves like a nasty child and wants to run wherever you don't want it to go. In this case, we're talking about controlling and educating the light to perform the way we need it. So, let's go back one step. In our profession, it would be understandable to say, without light, there's nothing. But then, let us not forget the mighty brother of light, the shadow. But if we do want to control and ride the mighty shadow, we need to be able to control, shape, form, and make the light perform the way we need it to create the wonderful shadows, which then on their own can convey their messages, their own emotions, be it fear or structure or the feeling of depth and size. When we transform all these wishes and all these experiences and dreams into the world of reflected light, where we're talking about narrow beam lighting instruments, lighting a single or groups of reflectors, and redirect, re-reflect, and create an entire array of lighting effects in all kinds of directions, shapes and characters, then we have to assume that the light deriving from a light fixture would usually come in the spot position of the light. And we do not know that to control and the shaping of a narrow beam exiting from a focusing light is practically impossible. In the flood position of the very same lighting instrument, barn doors and other devices can easily and perfectly control the size, the shape, the form of the shadow edges. But in the spot position, this is not possible. Therefore, we created the so-called parallel beam intensifier, which magically increases the light output many times beyond the spot performance, thus making the light with the parallel beam intensifier a mighty tool in the world of reflected light systems. But again, we wind up with a round beam with which we can light a part of the reflector, or we light the entire reflector, and this will result in stray light that goes above, under, left and right of the reflector. Now, if we work in a studio with black walls, that may not be disturbing. But when we employ the redirection and re-reflecting of the light, this may very well cause disturbing effects. In order to eliminate those, we can of course employ a whole army of helpers who would come running in with different flags on different stands and eliminate the unwanted light, filling the entire scene with more stands and helpers than you ever want to see. Ideally, though, we'd want to clear the set of all unnecessary lighting paraphernalia. Thus, the first step could be to control the original light deriving from the first lighting fixture. Now we know that with a narrow beam or near parallel light, this is impossible. In order to achieve that, we had to invent some very special trick. We create a second light source. That's easy to misunderstand when at the same time with the Dedolight light stream system, we introduce the term of the virtual light source, which is usually to be found way behind the light fixture. creating the illusion of light coming like natural light from a very far distance. But here, we are talking about creating a second light source in front of the light fixture, in mid-air. And this is not a virtual light source, but a real working light source, which can feed a new optical system. Now, we can even use the sliding shutter blades to adjust the square beam or triangular or any other shape at will. Now, this new device we call the framing intensifier. It really looks like a very big gun on a small device. It is an absolute optical marvel. But it will work exclusively attached to one of our focusing lights, and it will allow us to light a highly defined area with super high intensity. To light a highly defined area with super high intensity, this could be a square reflector, or a group of reflectors, or a rectangular reflector, or any shape you dream of. But then, this first reflector, or group of reflectors, can now be hit with a resulting controlled beam. The idea is, though, to light with this reflector further reflectors. But this light shaping ability with a framing intensifier only applies to the first reflector or group of reflectors. Beyond this, the benefit will be lost to further reflectors. When using the framing intensifier, this control only applies to the first reflector or the first group of reflectors, and not to further reflectors towards which the light is redirected. This leads us now onward to the new flag system. Traditional flags are mounted to extra C-stands and can then be oriented and placed. Sometimes you would need a whole group of them to shape a square of light and get rid of the parasitic light. But here, we go a very different way. We have a square flag, and that has 4 separate pouches on its back into which we insert steel rods, and those again can be inserted into a special reflector holder without the need of an extra stand. Now we can use our new flag system, patent applied for, getting rid of all the parasitic light that would otherwise go up, down, left, right of the reflector. No more extra stands needed. Mission accomplished. When we're talking about a group of reflectors, we can place, for example, 4 reflectors on adjustable arms in close vicinity to each other and attach the square flags behind them and still have the freedom to adjust the angle of each reflector in its own particular way to redirect and re-reflect the light with different exit angles, different directions, different intensity, and different characters. This is a special setup of the 4 flag system and the appropriate holding devices and a few simple accessories that can all be placed on a single crossbar with 4 studs holding 4 reflectors, which usually leaves a 5th stud to attach a 5th reflector, a smaller reflector that can be placed in addition to create a particular accent or highlight, so that adds to the whole group of reflectors, and even an E-flect can be added, all using a single lighting stand or suspension. This represents a very serious step forward. With this group of reflectors, we also redirect the light to further reflectors that may be placed at a distance further down the line. Thus, again, it may be unavoidable to create there some extra unwanted parasitic light. For this, we created yet another flag system that consists of an unfolding round flag, black, again with the 4 pouches to insert the 4 steel rods, that again insert into a special holding device directly seated behind the Dedalite light stream reflector. Thus, we create a round flag around a single reflector, eliminating the parasitic light. It should be noted that the rail on the back of the reflector allows the movement of the holding device, which can be centered or used off-center in relation between flag and reflector. For a group of square reflectors, we can use 4 flags simultaneously and keep the group of reflectors tightly placed next to each other for efficiency. For the unfolding round reflector, you may not always want to place them directly central, but move up and down in relation to the round unfolding flag. Now we come to a different subject, and that is the definition of hard light and soft light. When we direct a number 1 reflector with a mirror-like surface onto our talent, the talent will perceive this as hard light. When we take a number 2, 3, or 4 reflector, which produce a much wider spread angle, the talent will perceive this as soft light. Unfortunately, this is a misconception. Hard and soft light regarding the formation of shadow and light and the transitions between shadow and light is only dependent on the size of the area that emits light or reflects light in relation to the distance to the lit object or talent. Therefore, as we move our light stream reflectors further away from the talent, the light becomes harder, regardless of the exit angle from each reflector and the individual perception of the talent. Now, we're going to try to bridge this and show a new invention in practice. We cover the surrounding black flag that in its initial intention is supposed to get rid of the parasitic light. We apply it with a zip-on cover with white, silver, gold, or soft gold surface. Now, all of a sudden this becomes a huge reflector, and we can still choose which part of this reflector we want to activate by focusing our light so that either the entire reflective surface surrounding the original light stream reflector may be activated or only a central part of it. Thus we influence the character and the effect of the outer reflector. Since the Dedalite light stream reflector is still placed in the center of this new big surrounding reflective surface, the reflector itself can be changed from a number 1 all the way through a number 5. So this way we can talk about something like having a focusing light in the center, only that we do not focus continuously, but we simply change the exit angle by changing the reflector, choosing 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, like focus settings from a narrow angle like spot to 12, 30, 50, or wider degrees. Thus, we now have the effect like we would have from a focusing light in the center of this new large size reflector, and we can now control the relation between the light coming from the big surrounding surface in relation to the smaller central reflector. We can choose the intensity of the reflected light reaching the talent by altering the exit angle by choice of the central reflector. Thus, we now have another tool for controlling the relation between the large reflective cover on the big round flag and the original light stream reflectors. It will allow us, in the right combination, that you may choose to create the effect of a very large light that is further away. We already know that if you have a large soft light, you will not be affected by the square law when it's working in close proximity. Once you increase the distance of the talent to the soft light by more than double the diameter of the soft light itself, the square law will bite you with all its unwanted effects. Now let me give you another example. The sun. It's a huge light with a diameter of 140,000 kilometers, and nobody, when there are no clouds or diffusion, will talk about hard sunlight as a soft light. Therefore, again, hard light and soft light is only defined by the size of the light source from which the light originates, be it traditional emitting lights or reflected lights, always in relation to the distance to the subject. A soft light far away will become a hard light. A medium-sized light panel close to the talent will definitely help to ease the transition between light and shadow formation on the talent's face. So here now we find the bridge between both of these with this new procedure and the tool that you may want to explore yourself until you've familiarized yourself and find your own applications and usefulness. That's all for today. I'm Dado.